How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Chicago. Starting my lunch walk a little early today. We got January the 21st, 2025 here. Here's the Sweetwater here. We're on Michigan Avenue heading up towards the Wrigley building. What is it, 15 degrees? We're up to 15 degrees. Not too bad. Look at that blue sky. We got bright sunshine. So I'm walking home. I'm going to work from home this afternoon. I was in the office. There was 2 of us in the office. It's a typical Friday. Most people are working from home, so I'm going to take advantage of this sunshine. Yeah, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, Santana. There's the Carbide and Carbon building there, Michigan Avenue. We'll head up to, we're just going to head straight up to River North here. And I'll eventually get, hey, the zoo will be open. I probably won't. I'll probably just walk through there, the Lincoln Park Zoo. It'll take us an hour to get up there. Hey, Tony, how you doing there? Thanks for being on early. Yeah, the lunch bunch will probably come in around noon. People aren't expecting me to be on this early. I'm getting a jump on it here. You know, it's probably going to take me over an hour to walk home because I'm not going to walk that fast. It's a Friday. But, hey, Lorene, how you doing there? Yeah, long doctor appointment. That's okay. That's okay, yeah, but you can always watch the reruns there. All I'm doing is just walking from where I work to home here at lunchtime. Usually I walk around the loop there, but hey, thanks for tuning in and let me know there. Hope the doctor appointment goes well there. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do there. Hey, Cheeto, how you doing there? Cheeto Kicks, Tony, and yeah. They're people will slowly file in. There probably won't be many people in the chat today. We had a good group this morning on TikTok. We had over 700, which they must have changed the algorithm because this whole debacle with the end of TikTok or whatever, pulling the plug or whatever. I noticed that whole time I would live stream for an hour and a half, and I've been doing this for 2 years, so I know I can tell when there's subtle differences in the way things work. And I would have like 300, 400 people tuning in for an hour and a half, and I'd get like 5 people to follow me. So there was, and in contrast that with yesterday, they must have changed the algorithm because we had 1,200 people at the peak, and I got 700 people to follow me. 700 people, isn't that amazing? I'm very appreciative, and that's on TikTok, but something changed. Like 1 week I would get 5, and then the next week I get 700. That's not just me. That's not just the snow. I don't think that's just the cold weather. I think they've made some updates to the algorithm, and we'll try to figure out what changed, what hasn't. There's probably something else I got to watch out for. Some other word they put in there that I say they'll delete my account. But hey, yeah, this is Chicago. Hey, oh, so yeah, thanks, Serene, for catching that. So AFAQMQM, yeah, we're in Chicago. This is the Chicago River. You see the ice there. We got 15 degrees, and there's the St. Regis, and there's the Wrigley building. See, there's the Wrigley building, one of the most well-known and famous architectural icons in Chicago with that clock tower. And there's the Tribune Tower, and this is North Michigan Avenue. Hey. So there's the Trump Tower. I'm not going to go there because, no offense, I do not like Putin and I do not like Trump. So, you know, if you don't want to watch, that's fine with me. Americans are not as divided or united as, I don't know what you hear in your country. I know Russians probably like Trump, which is fine. I'm an American and I'm not crazy about the guy, but we'll see what happens. And I know so there was some broken glass. Some people broke some glass. See, there's the Trump Tower right there. I don't mind showing it. I don't mind talking about it. He's the president of the United States. Around the election, some people broke some of the glass, and there's barricades. So if I go over there filming, the security will, I'm sure you know about this in Russia, you know, the security will not like me filming it. And maybe you want me to get arrested or something, so I'm not going to go over to the Trump Tower. But hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. Here's the Tribune Tower. I'm just gonna walk home from work here. Thanks for tuning in here. Hey, Krista, how you doing there? Chris, how you doing there? Yeah. 100 benefits with who? Who are you talking about, T-Dog? I don't know who you're talking about here, but hey, thanks for tuning in. I don't, this is the problem I get when I come on early. We don't have the critical mass of the lunch bunch here to yeah, thank you, Putin. Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. Welcome to Chicago. Thanks for being on YouTube. And yeah, no, we're positive 15 Fahrenheit. It's negative 10 Celsius, so negative 10 centigrade. In America, we still use this stupid Fahrenheit system, even though the British don't use them. But yeah, we're 15 degrees Fahrenheit. What is that? Negative 10 Celsius. I know it's confusing, but here's the Museum of Ice Creams this way. There's the NBC Tower. How you doing here? Look at the Tribune here. Look how nice it looks. And you see how they have all these rocks, these pieces from other buildings throughout the world here. See the Alamo, Community Park, Germany, India, Great Wall of China, Westminster Abbey. See, this is the Tribune here, 1925. And look at that. There's the entrance. They say, caution, falling ice. Look at this sign, caution, falling ice. Yeah, the ice can fall off of these little bump outs here. But here, Notre Dame, Paris. This is from Notre Dame here. That's from Wrigley Field. China, Dublin. I'm sure there's some from Russia. And I just got to find it here. But hey, thanks for tuning in. How's everybody doing? You're welcome to YouTube. We're heading up Michigan Avenue. Hey, D. Michael, how you doing there? Yeah, Karachi. Oh, Karachi, how you doing there? Thanks for tuning in from, what is that, Pakistan? Yeah, thanks for tuning in there. Hello, how you doing there? Yeah, welcome to Chicago, Harlem. Yeah, see, so, yeah, that's why I follow a lot of the New York live streamers. Christopher Dotson might grace us with his presence there. He's a New York live streamer he's mainly on YouTube, but like All Day New York City, he's on TikTok and Twitch. There's Mikey, he streams on TikTok, and there's other people that stream on YouTube. But yeah, Chicago's not as big as New York, but we got tall skyscrapers. People confuse us with New York all the time, that New Yorkers would never confuse Chicago for New York, but I understand other people that aren't used to the architecture here. So hey, there we go there. Yeah, Pakistan, thanks for tuning in there. Another rock in the wall. Yeah, it's like another brick in the wall there. We'll sing Pink Floyd there. There's Michael Jordan's restaurant, so I'm sure you probably heard of Michael Jordan here. He's got a steakhouse right here in the Intercontinental Hotel, and they got it decorated for Chinese New Year here. Chinese New Year. And then they got some Valentine's Day stuff. This is the Intercontinental Hotel. And see, we're across. Look at this Art Deco facade here. They dismantled this. They rebuilt the building behind it, and they saved the facade. This building used to be much more narrow, and they made it deeper because the Gwynn Hotel's in there. And they got some other commercial stuff there. It's part of the Nordstrom Mall. Hey, let's walk through here. I'll show you what this Nordstrom Mall looks like. And we'll just walk from one end to the other here. This is Michigan Avenue here. Hey, how you doing there, Paula? Yeah. Who is Michael Jordan? Yeah, that's good. Keep it that way. You don't know who Michael Jordan is. I know you're probably joking. And thanks for tuning in. I'm glad that there's somebody in the world that doesn't know who Michael Jordan is. That's refreshing. That's good, because probably Al Capone. Do you know who Al Capone is? You might know Al Capone. You might not know Michael Jordan. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, we'll see if you know Al Capone there. You ever heard of Al Capone in Russia? There's Nordstrom's. Probably the most infamous Chicagoan. But here, let's go through this Nordstrom Mall. Let's just check it out here. So, welcome to... There used to be, like, some of these malls shut down. There was the one at 600. This is the...
Brian?
Yeah, Brian, how you doing, Eric? What's your name?
How
Hey,
are
yeah,
you?
how you
I
doing,
watch
sir?
you all the time.
Thank you. Thanks for
And
saying
I don't
hello.
live around here.
You don't live around here. California. Are you in town? Are you? How you
I'm in
do?
town, my grandchildren live
Okay, good. You mind you be on camera or? Good, thank you. What do you? How you feel about the cold weather? Is it pretty cold?
You know, I came from Colorado, so
Yeah,
it wasn't
good.
that bad. But
Yeah.
let me tell you what you do. You do terrific.
Good.
I listen to you all the time. You have the greatest disposition about everything. I learn from you.
Sometimes I get flustered, with the comments,
And
but
you
yeah.
walk right by my son lives in,
Oh, yeah.
in Lincoln Park.
Good. That's where I'm going. I'm
Yeah.
going back home.
You
So
walk all the time or you bike?
I used to bike more, but they give me they say I'm promoting dangerous activities. I can do it on YouTube, but I can't do it on TikTok because the algorithm. They watch everything. They listen to everything you say.
Can I get a picture of
Oh
you?
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
People ask that?
Yeah.
They do?
Oh, but I'm not used to being like this is the first time in my life where like people like you know me and I don't know you. But hey, I met you. Well, I feel more connected to yeah.
You have such a happiness to you, a lust for life.
Oh,
I see you walking around, how much you love what you do.
Yeah, I enjoy walking around the city. Thanks, bro. Yeah, do.
Oh, wait a
flip
second, I
it
gotta
around.
flip it
Flip it
around.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. What's your name, sir?
Larry.
Larry. Thanks, Larry. Nice to meet you.
man.
And that's what a lot of people. They have family here. They tune in to see how their kids are doing.
My wife is
Good.
in Lola.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, you're shopping here. That's great.
I just want to show you. I tell her about you all.
I just happened to walk through here. Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, yeah, I saw. There's another store like this. Hello, how you doing? Yeah.
It's tremendous.
Thanks from California. So are we still streaming here? Did I lose my connection here? I think we got it. So I might have lost my connection there for a second there, but thanks for tuning in here. I hope that recorded. We're good. Okay. Did I cut out there for a second? I hope that recorded because I wanted to get that interaction there. So you see how where we're at. I cut out. There was a gentleman there, Larry, there from California with his wife, and it did cut out for a short while. Let me go back and make sure I filmed them because here I'll just go back out to Michigan Avenue because it's this nice random encounter here. And okay, good. So what did you see me talking to this gentleman? I had to spin the camera around to get a selfie with him. He took a selfie with me, and he'll probably go to YouTube and want to see himself in the video there. But yeah, his wife shopping right here at Lola and the boys. We went by a shop just like this on Lorby last night because we went up by the new casino, and there's Hugo's, Kyle's, Giel's. I'm saying it wrong here. See, I'm not stalking you. I'm just heading back out here. Thank you. That's good. Yeah, nice to meet you. Oh, good. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate it. So there's the guy there. I want to make sure if you watch this on YouTube there, thanks for talking there and taking a selfie there. I just, for some reason, when I went in there, my connection cut out. So if you watch the YouTube there, I just want to make sure we saw you on camera. He got a selfie with me, so it's good. So hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. Everything that can go wrong will go wrong. It's usually my frustrations is when I want to film something, record it. That's right when my feed cuts out. And oh, when he was talking to the wife. Okay, so yeah, okay, good. So at least we got the initial interaction there. They were from California and they're in here visiting Chicago in the wintertime. He's got his he's got his son that lives here, so I'm sure they visit Chicago many times to visit their son there. But hey, welcome to Chicago. We'll cross Ohio Street here. We're by the Under Armour, and yeah, it shows this has value. Michigan Avenue's looking nice in the sunshine. How's everybody doing? I'm missing all the comments there. Michael, Lorraine, D. Michael, yeah, Lamby T. How you doing there, Annette? Good. Okay, that's when it cut out there. Didn't get the wife there. It must have been something to do with that store, or maybe I swung the camera around, or just anytime you go indoors, not just TikTok but YouTube, you need a really stable connection And usually when I'm using Streamlabs, if I was streaming in the landscape aspect, I could see my bit rate. But I was so, you know, I get, when I interact with people, I'm not even looking at the bit rate, so I wouldn't even have noticed it either. Thanks for the feedback there. Dave, how you doing there? Bangor, Maine there. Yeah. So, yeah, this is usually when I start my walk at lunch here on YouTube. And I'm just going to head home. I got my work laptop so I can work from home this afternoon. And then we'll see how I feel, if I feel like going back out for TikTok at night tonight or not. I did look back into the polar plunge. There is a polar plunge. Thanks again, Mary Therese, for the good information this morning. It's going to start at noon. That gives me more time because I was worried about getting there. They're not actually going to do the polar plunge at Oak Street Beach tomorrow until noon. So I'll probably leave my place there in Lincoln Park around 11. And I'll start heading down to Oak Street Beach to cover the polar plunge tomorrow. At least that's the plan. And I will do that on TikTok. And then so I can cut out the reruns there. And should be a fun event. It's supposed to be a little warmer tomorrow than today, thankfully, for the people going in the water. But that water is still going to be the same temperature as it is today. The water's right at 32 degrees. The lake's trying to freeze over. This is kind of the peak of winter here. Yeah, how you doing there? All the Daves and Michaels. And yeah, the view's very narrow because I'm doing, instead of doing landscape, I'm doing portrait. The reason is to enough people like you, the smart people like you that put it on your TV. Not enough people watch live streaming that way on YouTube. YouTube is the videos that do the best on YouTube are like documentary style, good quality, 4K, good resolution. That's why this Gemini does so well on YouTube. And I'm jealous because he'll post an hour-long video in 4K that he records with his nice Insta360 or whatever equipment he's got. And he'll get like 40,000 views. I'm lucky if I get a 700 views even on this. It just for whatever reason, he has the insight to how the algorithm works, and I need to learn from him, at least for YouTube. For some reason, my live streaming content travels much further on TikTok, and I'm sure that's how those people found me, because they, you know, people, it's exactly the same thing. People have sons or daughters that live in Chicago and they want to see what's happening. They live in different areas of the world or globe there. And what are you doing? Now we got a smooth stream there. Good. We just cut out a little bit when we were in the mall there, the Nordstrom Mall. What a lucky man he was. See, you're coming up with the good song quotes there. I like that. So hey, we're on there. People shopping on Michigan Avenue. I like the fashion here. Got the nice coats. And here we'll try to get around the wall here. Hey, it's Sugar. Here's the Olympia Center. So the sunshine helps. It probably looks warmer than it feels. It's 15 degrees. Probably hear a little wind here. Yeah, the rain and murk. Eagles. Yeah, we got NFL championships this weekend. Yeah, the big game. Well, they're both big games. They're huge games for all those four teams. Whoever wins these two games goes to the Super Bowl. And of course, Buffalo's playing the Chiefs. That's a rematch. The Buffalo beat them earlier in the season when they played the Chiefs, so it's a major rematch there. Here we're crossing Superior here in Michigan. And then, what is that? Yeah, the Washington Commanders play the Philadelphia Eagles. And both of those teams, you know, Washington's just amazed that they're actually in the picture there, you know. Yeah, the Commanders and the Bills, that would be an interesting match. I'm rooting for the Bills. I no offense to people. I know some people like the Chiefs, but the Chiefs, I'd rather root for the Bills. The Bills are long suffering. I can relate to them as a Cubs or Sox fan, or even a Bears fan. You know, it's just, I know they went to the, I remember the early 90s. Remember that movie Buffalo 66? You know, they went to the Super Bowl 3 times in a row and they lost on field goals, and it was these horrible, tragic, you know, Doug Flutie era, all that stuff. Flutie Flakes, you remember that? Look at that. There's the, look how nice the John Hancock, the water tower, 900 North Michigan. Yeah, here's Ralph's Coffee, the Ralph Lauren. They updated the window display here. This is Chicago Avenue. There's Canada Goose, the Park Hyatt. There's condos, housing. Here's Chicago Avenue. Yeah. Yeah, blue sky. You'll start singing the Electric Light Orchestra. Yeah. Hello, Mr. Blue Sky. Mr. Blue. There's the 66 bus. Oh, we got the lights. Let's go. Hey, Dolores, how you doing there? Yeah, the Commander's the Cinderella all the way. Yeah, look at the water tower. We went by it this morning. Now we're going by it at lunchtime here. Look at that, the John Hancock, 100 stories tall, Chicago water tower. Crystal blue persuasion, there you go. Crystal blue funk. There's, yeah, this survived the 1871 Great Chicago Fire. Christmas trees up, we saw it at night. We got footage of, plenty of footage of this at night, lit up with the Christmas lights. There's an alarm going off, I don't know what that's about, but look at that view. Great water tower, Chicago. So we went to Oak Street Beach. We saw the sunrise this morning. We'll be at Oak Street tomorrow for the Polar Plunge. I'm going to skip it right now. We'll go past this. This used to water the horses, and they got it covered up there. They can flip it up. And remember when they had the horse-drawn carriages that used to start here at Water Tower Place? They're no more because nothing lasts, but that's what that's for. On the block. Hey, Jude. So there's an alarm going off and everybody's ignoring it, so I don't know what's going on here. We'll go by Paul Stewart here. Go by Loyola University. There, 7,600 square feet available. We'll go by the seminary. And yeah, let's keep it positive. What's going on here? Yeah, I don't know what. Sometimes the comments go over my head. I don't know what the backstory is and what people are referring to. I don't get the references sometimes, but yeah, we'll let it slide here. Here's. Oh, okay. Okay, so you're talking about the. We're still talking about the football. Okay. So here's the Claire. Tired of looking up here. Hey, Rush Street, there's devil dogs. There's many devil dogs throughout the city if you want your Chicago style hot dogs. What's this car doing? Doing some weird maneuver there. But here we'll head up Rush Street. We'll get a really good view of the seminary here. Okay, stay focused there on that round window there, flying buttresses. And then you see how they got kind of a courtyard in there. And it's called the Archbishop Quigley Center. Quigley was an archbishop there. They got a statue to him. And they used to train priests here for the Catholic Church, but now I think they just use it as offices. Hey, Lamborghini Gold Coast. You got that. Wow, is that yellow or green? I think that's neon green or neon yellow. You bring some attention to yourself driving a neon yellow Lamborghini. Joe Perillo here, Rolls Royce. Hey, look at the 900 North Michigan building. It looks nice. Yeah. So here we'll just head up past Connors Park. That's what this thing's called. Here's the Rivian. We go by this all the time, but it's usually at night here on TikTok when we walk through it, Russian chestnut. There's the statue to Quigley there, right there. Front of the seminary there. There's a great view to the John Hancock there. We're looking, yeah. Joey Chestnut Street. There's the Rivian. Rivian, you get you some electric vehicles there. Oh, good. Okay, good. That's what was going on. Thanks, Michael. I totally missed that. Yeah, thanks for being on. Yeah, you know, what do you always say? It's just like if you run a bar or nightclub, you need bouncers. Thanks for being the bouncer there. People think they're funny and it's not. And they're, you know, it's like pollution or just the limiting factor of human behavior that limits all of us, that we least common denominator. But yeah, so thanks for doing that. It's par for the course. I didn't even notice it, so that's how good it was. Thanks for doing that. And I appreciate my moderators on TikTok and YouTube. We got people tuning in from all over the world. There's people here tuning from Pakistan and Russia, which is great. And somebody already asked me to go to the Trump Tower. I'm like, nah, I think I'll pass. I'm not as interested in it as other people are. I've been in there, but I don't feel like going back. Trust me, especially security's probably pretty tight now. And there was some people that broke some of the glass there. And that was earlier. I don't know what's... There's some other trolling going on. I'm not condoning that either. You know, I'm a non-violent protester. Breaking windows is violence. There's the John Hancock. Look at that. There's the Tesla store right there. Look at the size of this parking garage. This giant parking garage just behind the Bloomingdale's Mall. This is the parking garage for the 900 North Michigan building. And I've actually gone up there to see the views. Yeah. Chart the stream there. Yeah. Anita, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah. That's good there. Yeah, a lot of people ask me when they come to Chicago, they're like, will you give us a personal tour? You know, I have a day job. I do this as a hobby of my own enjoyment. I don't really expect to be an influencer or become TikTok famous or rich from doing this. I just saw all the New York live streamers long before I started it, after the pandemic, walking around New York City and San Francisco and Seattle, major hustler there, and Anne Arundel, Detroit. And I'm like, I could do that. Somebody's got to do Chicago. And Vic Cohen was doing Chicago long before I was doing it. J City Walking Girl's been doing it as long as I have. And we got a lot of live streamers now in Chicago, which is great. This city's too large for one person to cover it. And we need more. Like Vicky's covering 26th Street and Little Village area, which is great. I went down there for the Independence Parade there, and here, look at the nice windows here at Dior. We're walking up Rush Street past all the high-end fashion shops. There's where the original Gino's Pizza used to be. Now it's a Lululemon. It used to be a brick building. I remember having pizza there in the early 2000s, right before it shut down. Look at this alley. There used to be a nightclub down there called Le Passage. Nothing lasts. Here we'll go by Hermes. Oh yeah, Jen, you should eat. Yeah, you should eat is awesome. She's been, look at all the nightclubs. She's showing all the old footage from the Medusas and the Neos and the Crowbar and all the old nightclubs that we've lost from the 90s and 2000s and even earlier. There used to be a club around here called Faces. I remember when we went to Brovco, we were interviewing Michael's mother there, Barbara, and she would talk about there used to be a disco in the 70s and 80s called Faces here at Nothing Last. This used to be a more happening entertainment district, but now it's a shadow of what it used to be. But it still has all these high-end retail shops, which at least it's something. And Gibson's is still here, the steak place, Hugo's Frog Bar. Tavern on Rush used to be across the street. For some reason it moved. Well, it shut down, and it became the Bellevue, and then somebody revived the brand and put it here. It used to be Nomi, I think. No, something like that. It used to be called Nico's, and now it's called Tavern on Rush. I always remember Nico from the Velvet Underground. I don't think that had anything to do with it. Here's Gibson's Rush in Bellevue. And there's Mariano's Park there. There's Lux Bar, the Pancake House. The original Pancake House. Let's check it out with the Christmas decorations here. Here's the Thompson Hotel. Right here. Yeah, blessings. How you doing there, Ernesto? Yeah, Jenny, how you doing there? Easy E. Old E don't be working there. E from NWA. Here's the Pancake House. The original Pancake House. And where's the main entrance here? See, it's only open for breakfast and lunch. And I haven't gone inside here in a while. Let's just see what it looks like here. I don't want to freak people out. Having their nice, yeah, see how you walk in here. It looks nice and warm and cozy. Original Pancake House here on Bellevue, right next to the Lux Bar, across from the Thompson Hotel. Gibson's. We'll head over here. Sharon, how you doing there? Oh, I'm sure I could see Jen being a punk rocker or a at least alternative. I was, you know, I enjoyed alternative music. It kind of became, I was into grunge and of course heavy metal because I was a kid growing up there in the country. But yeah, I got into punk rock in the 90s with like Offspring and the Green Day, but then I discovered all this Sex Pistols from the 70s and the Ramones and all the Blondie and all. No, Blondie was more pop, but you know like Television, the New York Dolls, back to the M5, you know, MC5 from Detroit, you know, Iggy Pop. I got into punk music too. I used to hang out at a bar called The Exit. Anybody remember The Exit? It was in Chicago. Not the one on Wells, that was a different one. There was one on over towards Goose Island on North Avenue. It was called The Exit. It was a punk bar. And they had all kinds of crazy stuff that went on there. On Thursday nights, they would have bondage night. They would like chain people to a chain link fence and who knows what happened. It was all volunteer. But yeah, they'd be DJs. Of course, Delilah's is still a punk bar, but it's kind of a yuppie punk bar. Exit was like a real, like you almost were like scared to go in there. Nah, feeling warm and comfy, that's good. Oh, the Good Rats, New York City, 1970s. I'll check them out there. Yeah, the Good Rats. I remember like Bad Brains. Well, like the Dead Kennedys. I really liked the Dead Kennedys. I guess they were from LA. There was like that hardcore LA scene, and then New York had its punk scene. Of course, it wasn't just the Ramones. They kind of started it, but then they got like a hardcore scene there in New York City too, especially in the 80s. Black Flag. You know, Henry Rollins. You remember Henry Rollins? He's still around. He would do his spoken word stuff. So yeah, of course in the 90s we got all back into that. Yeah, Black Flag West, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, the streets are quiet. Yeah, Dead Kennedys, yeah. Holiday in Cambodia. They were very political, which is very, very against Reagan. The Reagan youth. There, La Colombe. Here we're on, now we're on State Street. There's the hangy uppies over there. We'll just head up through the Gold Coast here. We'll head straight up to the zoo. Yeah, 12:18, 12:17. Thanks for the time there. Yeah, K-Closet, how you doing there? Deb's World, how you doing? Jenny. Yeah. Ernesto. Who else am I missing here? Good rats. Well, we'll check out the good rats. Oh, we got to tell Kenny, New York, Kenny NYC there, KB NYC. He films the rats. There was a punk band named the Good Rats. So maybe he would be into that. There, we'll cross the street here real quickly. There, yeah, that's the vision here. We're going by the CVS. We'll just head straight up State Street. We came down Dearborn earlier. Hey, thanks Bella. Thanks for the popcorn and the smile there. Fear, New York punk band called Fear. Well, yeah, there's all these. Thanks for everybody chiming in with your favorite punk bands there from the 70s and 80s. Not just New York City and LA, but I guess that's the United States. Of course, London had like The Clash and the Sex Pistols, and they really got into it in London. I mean, it was the fashion, you know, it kind of went with the fetish fashion, and that was a big part of the punk scene too. It was kind of deconstructing everything, mocking it, mocking pop culture, and then, you know, turning it on its head there. Oh yeah, I remember that day. I couldn't believe it. Like, I didn't even know he was in Chicago. I don't follow his page as much as I should. You know, every once in a while I'll see what he's doing. Kenny's a famous live streamer. He's a truly TikTok famous live streamer from New York City. He usually films from Queens because he works at a pizza joint there, but he films the rats. He goes out at night, and New York City has a much worse rat problem than Chicago. And he noticed the rats, like in the pizza place, would always come out at night and steal the garbage, and people would tune in. Thousands of people would tune in to watch his live streams of him just filming the rats at night. And he's not as big as All Day New York City, another truly TikTok famous. Now he's on Twitch. But yeah, Kenny, he grew up in St. Louis. He's not a native New Yorker, just like I'm not a native Chicagoan. I've lived in Chicago much longer than he's lived in New York. I think he's only lived in New York a few years, but they've accepted him. He grew up in St. Louis, or he has family in St. Louis. So I think Kenny was this late last summer, right beginning of the fall. He was at St. Louis visiting his family, and he came through Chicago. He took the Amtrak from St. Louis to Chicago, and it was just totally random. I did just like we're doing now, I was doing my lunch YouTube live streaming. I went back to work, and I checked my TikTok. I just checked my TikTok like I obsessively compulsive do, just like everybody else. We're all addicted to this social media now. And I saw Kenny live streaming, and I said, he's walking in the loop. I'm like, what's Kenny doing in Chicago? And then I saw he was going to walk right past where I work. So I paused what I was doing at work. I grabbed my phone and my gimbal. I ran down there, and I barely was able to get a live stream going. I literally hit like record, and there he was walking down the street. And I was like, hi, Kenny, I'm Brian. He had no idea who I was. I still this day, he probably doesn't remember me. I don't blame him. And All Day New York City was in Chicago too, but I missed him because I was somewhere else. I think I was out of town when he was here. But that was later. They both stuck their stickers. I can show you their stickers. They're right there by the Wrigley building. They all got their branding, just like me, you know, merch and whatever. But yeah, we got to meet Kenny. I made the most of it. I got like 3 or 4 videos out of it. And I'm glad Sarah was able to see that before she passed. Sarah was trying to get me with Kenny and Candace and all the famous live streamers for a long time, because she knew them too, and she followed all of them. And Sarah got to see me and Kenny before she passed, and she wanted me to hang out with them and filming the rats, but I was like, no, I think I'll leave Kenny alone. He doesn't need a mini-me circling him like I'm a groupie or something. I just respect him. We respect anybody willing to live stream. It's a hard thing to do, especially in these cities. That's why I respect You Should Eat and Jay, City Walking Girl, for doing it, and Keys, Impact, and Nia, and Vic Cohen, JC the photographer. Of course, this Gemini is on YouTube. And then we got Chris Presents. He and there's people I don't even know. There's like Vicky. I've ran into her many times, but then I forget, and then she's huge. She has as many followers as I do, and she streams in Chicago. That's good there. So hey, somebody at work's looking for me, so I'll have to call them back here. And why are they calling me at lunch? They're looking for me at work. I bet that's what's happening. They're trying to rope me into an office meeting. I'll call them back as soon as I get to my house there. But yeah, he does good restaurant reviews. He knows World of Shirts there. What's that guy that wears the captain hat there? That is always having a drink. Another truly TikTok famous person. Yeah, I'm a groupie. That's me. I'm just a wannabe. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're on State Street. We're just heading up through the Gold Coast. We got sunshine. Hopefully it's a little warmer than 15 degrees now. It's going to get up to 20. I know I'm saying warmer because we started at like 0 or 5 degrees. It was 5 degrees. I think the suburbs were like -2 Fahrenheit. And hey, they still got the holiday decorations over there. We'll go past the Webster House. And if you ever watched that 1980s sitcom Webster with Emmanuel Lewis, they used that red brick building over there. Look at this whole block here. Look at these Queen Anne style. And then that red brick has Victorian flourishes, that round window. It's a rare Victorian here in the Gold Coast of Chicago. Because most of what we got is Richardsonian Roman, and that's Queen Anne and gray stones and brownstones and Renaissance revival styles, French chateau-esque and Beaux-Arts and stuff like that. But that's a true Victorian. That, yeah, you remember the sitcom Webster in the 80s? They would use that. It had George Pappas there. It was Mungo and Blazing Saddles. I think he was the dad. Special Friday. How you doing there? Thanks for tuning in here. Look at these porches. That's why I wanted to get some YouTube footage of this. But of course, in a perfect world, I would just be using the YouTube app to stream. But we've discovered before this TikTok ban, when I kept trying to use the YouTube app, for some reason it'll start with a clear stream, and then so halfway through it'll get all pixelated and fuzzy resolution, and it's just something with the app doesn't work. I've never gotten it to work the way I want it to do. I don't like the zoom. I'd rather use Streamlabs. Streamlabs, we can, even in the vertical aspect here. And I know I stream for, look how many videos I have. I have literally hundreds of videos in the landscape version. Most of them just sit there and get like 200 views because TikTok or YouTube will not push the landscape because they're trying to compete with TikTok and Reels, and everything's this vertical shorts and Reels and TikToks and whatever else. Oh, the masonry, yeah, the quality of the craftsmanship of the people that worked on these buildings, because there was a whole industry of artisans, stonemasons, stone cutters, bricklayers, architects, and engineers that specialized in these type of buildings in the 1880s, 1890s through 1920. And like Louis Sullivan, the cast iron work on the Carson Prairie Scott building, they literally think if they had to reproduce that, they wouldn't be able to do it today because they had to build molds, you know, like to cast that iron, and it was so detailed they would have to do a reverse, you know, like that, you know, that's like concrete. They would have to do molds and then take them off, and that was just so labor intensive, and they had the time to do it back then because it was all, you know, before TV and internet. People had more time to spend. You know, like think of the cathedrals of Europe. They would spend literally centuries building them. It would be multiple generations. The people that would start building the cathedrals, including Notre Dame, the people that started building it would die before it would be the building would be finished, and then their kids and grandchildren would finish it. And there would be these whole guilds and families of people working on these cathedrals for their entire lifetimes. And it was considered, you know, service to the church and community. Look at this building here. This is the Archbishop's residence, and we just went past the brick alley. There's the brick alley there, in between the Archbishop's residence and the residential housing here on State Street. This has 19 chimneys. See you, Angel. Have a good day there. Merc, yeah, have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. I know, yeah, if anybody's got to go, you can, you know, if you're really interested in this, you can go back and watch the reruns there on the live tab there in YouTube. Let's see, we got a little snow here. See, they're flying the Vatican flag here. So this used to be a Catholic cemetery, and that's why the Catholic Church retained the land to build this in the 1880s. And it's on almost 2 acres of land. You can imagine how valuable this land, just like these towers that overlook the lake and Lincoln Park. Here's the 1550 State building here, a very prestigious address right here at State and North Avenue. That's a Beaux-Arts French Renaissance revival style. And that's a horn. There's State Street. Hey, does it look like spring? Does it look like there's buds on those trees? No. Yeah, Archbishop's residence. There it is. There's the Archbishop's residence. North end of the Gold Coast. This is North Avenue. And this is State Street where this car is coming out. That's where State Street ends. This is Lincoln Park. So we'll walk up to the zoo. We'll go through the park and check out the snow here. We'll go past the Fountain Girl here. Thanks for tuning in here. Did they use this on Chicago Fire? They might have. We've noticed they use the Gold Coast sometimes for filming a Chicago Fire, Chicago PD. One time we went through, they were filming for Chicago PD. They use it for movies. Yeah, there's a lot of filming. There's an active movie industry, not just TV, but films in Chicago, and you can get permits with the city. And I found, you know, as long as they're using a public street, they can't stop you from walking down the sidewalk, but they really don't like it. But you know, that's how I get some of my footage. I just walk right past the sets. And as long as you keep moving, if I would stop there and just hang out, they would tell me to leave. But because I'd be like, I'm trying to get to my house, you know, they don't know if I live there or not. And which I am on my way home. This is my commute to my house. It's just my house is much further north here, or my apartment. Yeah, a cord of wood a day. Oh, think of all the coal, when all these buildings burned coal and gas, and all this coal would come in Chicago on the rail, and they'd have to distribute it. Your milk would come, and here's the Fountain Girl. This is a replica of a statue from the World's Columbian Exposition, and again, this is another trough for the horses used to drink out of this when the carriages used to go through here, and they use it. They still fill it up in the summertime. A lot of dogs use it. They get up there, but here it's called the Fountain Girl. Again, it's a replica of the statue, because the original statue from the World's Columbian Exposition, somebody stole it. They never found it. We don't know where it's at, but here's the, and it still works. They turned it on in the summertime. It's just off now. So if they're, hey, how's it going? I'll let you go through here. I'll go quiet when we go underneath the bridge there, because there's people camping out there. That's the last thing they need is some loud talker like me yammering on about something. They're trying to sleep or stay warm. So this is the LaSalle Street extension to DeSauvo Lakeshore Drive in Lincoln Park here. I'm going to go quiet when I go walk through this tunnel here, because we're just going to get to the other side. Yeah, the old hitching post. You got to hitch your horse up to the hitching post. I was in some Texas towns where they still had the hitching post. I didn't see anybody using them. Actually, I saw it in Mexico. I was in the state of Jalisco, and out in the country. Some of my friends have property there, and there were some people riding horses into the town. He's talking to his dog. That's good. So here we'll head over to the Ben Franklin here. The hitching post. One horse town. And some of the streets in Texas, like Fredericksburg, the main street that's in the hill country there, Central Texas, near you ever heard of Lulenbach, Texas? I've been to Lulenbach, Texas. It's like 2 buildings, but that the main street was really wide, and it was for the old. You'd have like 12 horse teams, and they would have to turn in the turn around there without unhitching the horses. So the streets had to be wide so the horses could turn around in the downtown there. The old stagecoach would go through there, in the old days. Yeah, Lincoln Park. Yeah, Chicago has warming centers. There are warming centers throughout the city. Sometimes they have warming buses. And there are free stores where you can get free food. I volunteered at them. I can show you where some of them are at. And like there's one off the Red Line station there north of Wrigley Field at Sheridan, or the Sheridan stop there, the one past Addison. You get off there underneath the L tracks. There's a free store. You might have to wait in line, but you can get fresh vegetables, canned goods. They got milk and meat, and not everybody that's unhoused or homeless or whatever the proper term is for it now is some of them don't like staying in shelters because they feel too confined and they don't want to be around that many other people. I talk to homeless people. They can tell horror stories of where they were trying to sleep on a cot in a warming center and the person next to them was urinating on them, like real sociopathic behavior, because that's why some of the people end up in those situations, and that's intolerable. And so some people choose to even camp out in the winter because it's possible. I've camped in the wintertime. I'm not saying it's ideal. There's somebody else living in a tent over there. We've seen a tent. And if you go to Humboldt Park, there's a much larger tent city. We filmed that when we went over there in June. They tried to clear it out for the DNC. They cleared out some of the people living underneath the metro tracks in the loop. Remember, we would walk by, there was those orange tents, those ice fishing tents that a local businessman donated. And people got mad at him for donating those to the homeless people because they're like, now they're never going to leave. And he's like, come on, I'm trying to help them out. It's just funny how people are. It's kind of like with the immigrant crisis here. Where's your heart, But I know there's deeper fundamental issues. I'm not going to weigh into that. I know people that tune in. There's many different perspectives on that. And I'm thinking of the old Foreigner song. Remember the Foreigner song, You're Cold as Ice? Well, that's immigration, ICE. ICE is knocking at the door there. It's not funny, I know. Hey, look at the dogs here. Yeah. Getting the ball there. How you doing there? Yeah, running full. So it's nice people can come out here and let their dogs chase the balls around here. This goes on in the mornings and nights here. It's nice. People can let their dogs off the leash and enjoy the wide expanses of Lincoln Park here. Yeah, there it goes. Oh, right to that dog. Yeah. Yeah, John James, do you like these dogs here?
Oh my gosh, Mommy, you are in heaven right now.
Yeah, we're in heaven. We must be in heaven. Yeah, there's a lake. There's a Lake Michigan. We'll head up. Let's go up to the Grant statue. If you stay on another minute or two, I'll try to zoom in and get you pictures of the Blue Lake. We got Lake Michigan. We walked by it this morning. The whole way into work on TikTok, I walked by the lake. Well, not the whole way, most of the way, till we got to Michigan Avenue. And we saw the sunrise. We saw the ice. We'll be back at the lake tomorrow on TikTok. I'm Brian Really Chicago on TikTok. The same name here as YouTube. And they're going to have a polar plunge tomorrow at noon Central Time. So you see those cars moving, that's called Lakeshore Drive. So beyond Lakeshore Drive, there's Lake Michigan. It's hard to see, but there's a little rise in the land up here by this Grant statue, and we should be able to see the lake there. My gimbal's acting up here. That's good, Annette. Thanks for looking that up. Yeah, if you need useful information about immigration on YouTube, talk to Annette there. She'll hook you up. Now, I know it's a scary time. It's a scary time. I mean, the businesses in Little Village and Pilsen, they're posting signs that they will not allow ICE into their businesses because people are afraid to shop. People are afraid to go out of their house. And I know that's the fear that this administration purposely wants to create. Well, I've heard rumors about, I haven't seen this in the news, but I've heard rumors, people send me videos that people are posting that they're going to schools and they're camping out when the kids get out of school, and then so they get to the families, and you know, it's such a, don't get me started. I get emotional when I talk about this because I don't understand. I understand people. People think it's a, and you know, maybe other people have different perspectives. I know there's this. People feel like the Democrats let immigration get out of hand because they're trying to get votes, and I don't know if that's true. I don't know. I think that's a conspiracy theory in my opinion. But you know, I'm a hippie, so I probably don't get the same news that you get if you think otherwise. And you're allowed to have your opinion. It's just my opinion. I'll get off of this because I'll start getting. I don't want cause my moderators trouble here. So, welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Lincoln Park. This is the problem I have when I got so much airspace to fill. My mind wanders into areas that we all, you know, people mention it in the comments. And I brought it up myself by bringing up that Foreigner song. So I'm my own worst enemy here. Yeah, there's a lot of beaches in Chicago. So we don't have a continuous beachfront, but we got these little pockets of beaches, and they're not natural beaches. They're kind of contrived, but there's natural beaches in Indiana and the dunes and Michigan side. And hey, did some donuts. Yeah, somebody did some donuts. Somebody did some donuts there by the ball field there. I just saw that. There you can start to see Lake Michigan. Let me zoom in here a little bit. There, you see behind that bus, see that blue? That's Lake Michigan. Yeah. Newark. Really? Oh. Yeah, that's bad, Annette. Thanks for citizen veteran got caught up in one yesterday. Yeah, I know it's bad. I know it's thanks for sharing these stories, because we got to personalize this thing. This is affecting real people and real families. And I guess I could be more vocal. I know Darren Monroe is very active in the political discourse. You can follow Darren Monroe there. I admire his perspective there, and he's a true Chicagoan there. And but he posts so much content, it's amazing. He'll post like a dozen things a day. There's the Grant statue in Lincoln Park. See, there's the South Pond. We walked by there this morning. Look, there is some open water. That's why I said as long as there's open water, these geese will stick around. They don't migrate. And it's the South Pond. Here, let me show you the lake here. So look at those giant mounds of ice there. There's giant mounds of ice there. That's the north end of North Avenue Beach. And that blue, that's Lake Michigan. So there's Lake Michigan. If you check out my TikTok page, and actually I got YouTube over the lake too. We walk over by it in the downtown area sometimes. Okay, that's Grant. It's General Grant. Ulysses S. Grant. So you see this pediment here. They got this archway, this giant stone base to the statue. This is Ulysses S. Grant. He was the victorious Union general, commanding general of the American Civil War in the 1860s there. And he was a Republican. He became a president after Lincoln was assassinated, then there was Johnson, and then he became president in the late 1860s, early 1870s to 1876. His presidency was kind of marked with scandals. There was some business corruption and stuff. But then he went back to New York State and wrote his memoirs there. And there you see there's Grant on his horse there. He's kind of looking towards Richmond. It's interesting. There's the artist there. 1890. This is 1890. So this, you know, that's when that was added there, even before the World's Columbian Exposition. So here, we'll head up to the zoo here. Yeah. General Grant there. Thanks, Jila. I hope I'll say your name right there. Well, I try, you know, thanks. Sometimes I get things wrong. I try the best to kind of fill in the context. I do like history, and that's why a lot of what we do is talking about the history of Chicago or the history of America through Chicago. And we can go back to Native American history and how it touches the rest of the world too, you know, put it in its full perspective. There's Lake Michigan. And that parking lot that you see here in the foreground, this is the parking lot for the Lincoln Park Zoo. So in the summertime, this parking lot's usually full, and it's you could also use for the beach there. And so I wonder which way I should go. Yeah, we'll go this way. Look at this helicopter. There's a helicopter flying in. Huh. Okie dokie. Yeah, we walked through this morning before the sunrise here. We were on TikTok. We were reversing this whole thing. We got 12:45. That's why I started so early there. I knew it would take me a while. And as soon as I get home, I got to return a coworker's phone call there. So here, let's head down through. See, there's the GD Gang Pavilion there. Little honeycomb structure there. You see the housing there on Clark Street. This bridge has a really nice view to the skyline. I'll show it to you, and then we'll walk through the zoo. I won't spend much time there because a lot of the animals are out in the wintertime. When we went there on Monday, and we saw the polar bear, and we saw the meerkats, the giraffes, and the hippopotamus, and the gorillas, and the chimpanzees. I still need to cut out the gorillas and chimpanzees. I'll do that. You can go to YouTube Shorts there and see it. If you go to my page there, the live, you watch the full hour-long live there. We go through the Lincoln Park Zoo if you want to see the animals. But here it is. Look at the skyline there. You can see the John Hancock to the Sears Tower. All the ones in between here. Here's this nice bridge over the South Pond. Well, it's because the wizard, I'll address that. I know it's controversial and you don't have to agree with my opinion. I respect your opinion. I know it hurts people, daughters of the Confederacy, and people that have... I have ancestors that fought on both sides of that war. I have ancestors that fought for the South. Some of them that were mixed blood Cherokees that lived in Oklahoma. They were in the Battle of Pea Ridge in Arkansas. I also have ancestors that fought in the Battle of Vicksburg for the Union, and they were from Kentucky, and they fought for the Union, and then they had a hard time after the war because a lot of their neighbors, just like the Hatfields and McCoys, fought for the South. I have another ancestor that lived in Tennessee that fought for the North. That was even worse. He had to leave his house because they were going to kill him after the Civil War. He had to move to a pro-Union area of Kentucky. And you know about the Hatfields and McCoys, they were on different sides of the Civil War there in West Virginia. And I know, so I'm empathetic to both sides. And but about the statues, no offense, this is my opinion, and since you brought it up, you're going to get it. The South lost the Civil War. The same with the renaming of the bases. Why do we name bases after people that were technically traitors to the United States? And I know people that are, you know, the lost cause and stuff, they consider themselves the true patriots. That war was about slavery, and the South lost, and that's why there's no longer slavery, because the North and Grant did win. And he fought for the Union. He fought to preserve the Union, just like Lincoln. We got a statue of Lincoln that I passed and didn't even point out. There's a statue of Lincoln, but we don't have a statue of Jefferson Davis in Chicago, and there's a reason for that. And I'm against the erasure of history. I believe those statues should belong in a museum. I don't think they should belong in a public square and be maintained by people's tax money, including black people, you know. And it's a reminder that who put up those statues? It was the Daughters of the American Revolution. They did it after the Civil War to promote the lost cause theory, and then they were the ones that fought Reconstruction, and they were the ones that continued Jim Crow. And so, you know, you might have a different opinion than me. I'm glad those statues are gone. And Grant was the victorious general. General Lee was the loser. We allowed him to still be an American. He still taught at a college. Even, you know, even Jefferson Davis was allowed to live, even though, you know. And so it was a very benevolent. Abraham Lincoln, you know, think of his second inaugural speech. We must be friends, not enemies. That's the same thing we're going through right now. And I know it's controversial, and people associate with wokeness. Now, I agree wokeness went too far. Cancel culture went too far. I had my own disagreements with that, as I'm sure you have. Please don't mistake my ambivalence towards the Confederate statues being taken down the South with me accepting everything that wokeness does. I know that's, you know, the pendulum's swinging back the other way. They're ending diversity, equity, inclusion. They'll be able to fire people in government offices, and they won't have to consider gender, sexual orientation, or age. The Trump administration will be able to discriminate against age, sex, and sexual orientation, and you might consider that a good thing. You know, I you know, I don't know where to weigh in about the affirmative action stuff. You know, I see positive, negatives to everything. I see how it could be abused. I see how it could do a lot of good too, you know. And so, and thanks everybody. Thanks for listening. No, thanks to Wizard. Thanks for being so courteous and letting me speak my piece. You asked the question. Thanks for bringing it up. We ended up to have to talk about controversial things all the time. And you know, I've been to Memphis. I saw Confederate statues in Memphis before they were taken down. I saw the ones in New Orleans before they were taken down. I went to New Orleans in 1999, 2000 before they were taken down. I think I might have pictures of them. I went to Vicksburg. There's monuments to the southern states. There's monuments to the northern states. Andrew Jackson's still on the $20 bill, even though he did the Trail of Tears. I have ancestors that were in the Trail of Tears, even though I'm a white guy, because they were mixed blood Cherokee that assimilated. And by the time of the Trail of Tears, they were Christians. They owned slaves, and they took their slaves with them to Oklahoma, and they fought for the South. And they were Cherokees. And some of them were pretty wealthy too. And the U.S. government paid them a lot of money to move to Oklahoma, and that's what's left out of the Trail of Tears story. They actually got, we would consider it reparations today. It was a land transfer. John Ridge made sure he got $5 million from the U.S. government, which today would be worth like $5 billion or even more. And they took that with them to Oklahoma and rebuilt Tahlequah and the Creeks and the Choctaws, Chickasaws. Potawatomi had to go to Council Bluffs, Iowa, across from Omaha. And there was a lot of Trail of Tears. Shawnee had their own Trail of Tears after Tecumseh. But hey, thanks for tuning in. We're talking about history. Here's Hans Christian Andersen, a statue here. And let's go through the zoo here. I meant to go through the zoo. They had the Cafe Brar. I don't know if this is, there was a fire here late in the fall, beginning of winter, and it looks like they had some police tape up. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, if they're doing some repairs or anything. Lincoln in the Fight for Peace. Hey, that's a good book there, Merc. There you go there. Yeah, we're a melting pot. America's never been a monolithic culture. We've always had diversity from colonial times until now. And I'm pretty apprehensive of white nationalism. I know but I try to respect people of all faiths, not just Protestant Catholics and Christians, but Muslims, Buddhists, people without religion. The freedom of religion is also the freedom from religion. One religion shouldn't be able to impose their values on everybody else, even if the founding fathers were all one certain religion. And they made sure they kept the separation of church and state in the Constitution. They did it for a reason. Ben Franklin was worried about, the Church of England. They fought the Church of England through the king and the divide and right of kings. Here's this nice view over the South Pond here, and so Briar Gate. We're in the Lincoln Park Zoo here. So welcome to Chicago. We're walking through Lincoln Park Zoo. It is a free zoo. You see, I can just walk in and out without paying an admission. Of course, during the zoo lights, you got to pay for the zoo lights, but they just started that after the pandemic. I remember even when the zoo lights were free. But here, see, most of the animals are not out. There's kangaroos and camels down that way, the takin. There's a deer here. And we'll see if the flamingos are out. That'd be nice if the flamingos are out with the snow here. Yeah. Yeah, Annette, remember that. Annette, that women, it's not that long ago that people were discriminated against because of gender, age discrimination, sexual orientation. People in the LGBTQ community could not have security clearances. Before, don't ask, don't tell. Remember when, and the irony of J. Edgar Hoover, who ran the FBI, he always delved into people's sexual orientation, and he was paranoid that if anybody was gay in the CIA, that they could be used to blackmail them. Well, he would use the blackmail, and the irony is, J. Edgar Hoover was probably a cross-dresser, and there's truth to that story, and he had a male companion, and you'll never be able to prove it, but he certainly preferred the company of men over women. And look at the mental hoops he had to go through to, use it as power. He realized as long as the laws were, there was a lot of laws against homosexuality. There was laws against interracial marriage until the late 1960s. We forget that. And why do I always talk about the Melungeons? The reason the Melungeons, the one drop rule. Most Melungeons are white, look white, identify as white, but genetically, just like a lot of African Americans have European blood in their DNA, the Melungeons have drops of black blood in their DNA, but they look white. And the racism of the 1920s was so bad, they were afraid of their kids marrying Melungeons because of the one drop rule, because they could be discriminated against in housing and many other things. And so we're not too far removed from the movement in the 60s, the civil rights movement. It wasn't just the civil rights movement for minorities and people of color. It was women's movement. It was the handicap movement, ADA accessibility. And they're starting to roll back all this to implement an agenda. Now, again, your opinion may differ from mine. You might think this is a groovy thing. You voted for the guy. This is what you want. And that's we got to accept it, And you don't see me marching on the Capitol. And you don't see me moving into Canada. I'm staying in America. I got ancestors that have been here from the very beginning. And fought in the Revolutionary War, And for me to leave over one politician would be really throwing in the towel there. We'll make it through here. Yeah, sundown laws. There's still sundown laws. I know exactly what you're talking about. Even I grew up in southern Indiana. My dad remembers in the 50s, the KKK was still pretty active in southern Indiana because there was a lot of southern sympathizers in southern Illinois. Cairo, Illinois is known to be a sundown town. People in Illinois know what I'm talking about. And, people hear banjos and I grew up in that area, so I know what you're talking about. And here I am, a country boy, moved to the city. I lived through the George Floyd's riots. I remember when Clark Street was all boarded up, people were marching in the streets. It was a scary time. 2020 was a really scary time to be living in the city, because we all were locked down, and a lot of people moved out of the city and never came back. And it's still affecting us this day. So we're still not beyond all this stuff. Remember the LA riots in 1990s after, can't we all get along? Rodney King, it was Rodney King then it was, so hopefully we won't have to go through it again. But yeah, America's, we got a lot of baggage, lots of baggage. Everybody's got a grievance. Welcome to America, where everybody now has a grievance. Even white heterosexual men have a grievance and feel they're discriminated against. And I can relate to that because that's what I am. And it's not true that we have a grievance. We don't realize how good we got it, because we haven't had to walk down the mean streets of Chicago as a woman or a minority in the country where everybody's looking at you. You know, you're the only non-white person in a grocery store, and you're checking out and everybody's looking at you and clutching their keys. And look at, here's the Schiller statue. Here's the Schiller statue in Lincoln Park. And isn't it amazing? I don't know if you've seen it. You know, of course, I got flack for even bringing up whatever Elon inadvertently or consciously or unconsciously he did with his hand gestures at that speech. But even went to Germany, where in Germany, Schiller is a German language writer. And we got a statue to him in Lincoln Park here because there was a lot of German Americans. This was a German American neighborhood historically in Chicago back in the 1800s. And it's illegal to do that gesture in Germany. And Germans, they said yes, it was. even if he didn't mean to do it, it's the when he pounded his chest and thrust it out. You can call it a Roman salute. That's where it came from, but you know who else used it? And it's illegal to do that in Germany. So that's what they said. They said, if you think Elon did nothing wrong, do it at work. Do it to your Jewish friends. See what they say. They won't like it. And if you're, you know, all of us need to be, including me, I need to be a little more humble and respectful. And, you know, and I personally can tolerate it, but I'm not threatened by it as much as other people are, you know. And because I have a lot of German ancestry, and my German ancestors came over here before the Civil War. And some of them even fought, some of my German ancestors couldn't even speak English, and they got here in the 1850s and they fought in the Civil War. And so they left Germany trying to escape the end of the Napoleonic Wars and the economic crisis of 1848. And then they get to America and they're like, man, this Civil War is breaking out in this country. We just got here, you know. Elon who? Yeah, who's Elon? I'll stop talking about him. But at least I'm consistent. For 2 years, I've been, long before you got into this political thing, I've been leery of that guy. Just because it's too much power, just like Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. I put them all in the same category there. And they're all hanging out there at the inauguration, which makes everybody scared. Poor Tim Cook. Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, had to sit there and squirm. You know, he's probably one of the most powerful gay CEOs, and openly, you know, and then he's got to sit there and, you know, kowtow to the Trump administration because he doesn't want to be punished. Righteous punishment if you don't fall in line. When have Americans ever agreed about anything here? That's what scares me the most, that people just mindlessly eat up the red meat there. Hey, look at the Belton Stratford. There's the Belton Stratford. We'll go by the Billy Shakespeare statue. Thanks for being in there. Yeah, thanks Sharon D. Michael. I fought the law and the law won. That's a great song. Yeah, even Johnny Cash did that one. Yeah, it seems like they're going for the tax cuts. Trump is threatening tariffs, but he's not really following through with it, so the stock market doesn't care. They know he's just using it as a threat to try to get concessions. But if he actually has to follow through with it, there'll be a market reaction, trust me. Because the countries that we put tariffs on will put tariffs back on us. And who pays it? The consumer. It gets passed on to the consumer. China doesn't pay it. Canada doesn't pay it. We pay it. And Trump knows it. But he likes tariffs because he can use it as a cudgel. He could use it to motivate people to do his will. And it's like a threat over the Damocles sword over all our heads. I mean, we're all hostages. I feel like a hostage in this administration. I know people might have felt that way under the Biden administration. I know I've talked to people that have been adversely affected by DEI and wokeness, and they lost their jobs, and whether they deserve to or not, it's still, you understand why there was such a backlash to it, because people didn't understand it. Anytime there's a theory that people can't explain concisely, people they say, Brian, can you tell me what woke means? And it would take me like a half an hour to try to explain it. You couldn't explain it in one sentence. It was too detailed of a theory, and you had to accept all this other ideology that you had to know about history and understand why these things had to be corrected. And then you were like, no, I don't agree with that, and I understand why there was a backlash against it. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Thanks for listening to me talk here. Thanks for keeping me company here. Once we get up to Fullerton, we'll get up to this umbrella here that says, what does it say? I even forget what it says. Live or something. But thanks for being a live audience here. Thanks for watching on YouTube. I don't know if I'm going to go on TikTok tonight or not. We'll see how motivated I get, but we're going to try to do the polar plunge tomorrow at noon at Oak Street Beach. We'll do that on TikTok. Hopefully I'll get some good footage for the reruns there on TikTok. Thanks for being a live audience here on YouTube and Lunch Bunch. Appreciate everybody. Yeah, extremes in both directions are dangerous. Yeah, we don't want to go too far to the left, and we don't want to go too far to the right. And because we went too far to the left, now we're maybe going too far to the right. More, that's what it says. Oh, look at the geese. Look at the geese. Yeah, there's the geese. In the middle of January, there's still geese here. More, we want more. I want more. Everybody wants more. So have a good Friday. Happy Friday. If I don't see you tonight on TikTok, we'll see you tomorrow on TikTok at Oak Street Beach for that polar plunge. Should be a good time. Have a good Friday night there. Thanks for tuning in there. See you, Annette. See you, D. Michael, John James, Sharon, Sean Easy, Michael. And I want to thank, Monkey Business. I want to thank, where did he go there? The Wizard. The Wizard, thanks for listening to my perspective. And thanks for being so polite and listening to my spiel. I would like to get your take on it too, because I'm sure you got other thoughts, and I can learn something from everybody here. So thanks, everybody. Have a good day there. We'll see you later from Chicago. Have a great day. See you, Jackie, Lorraine, John James, Sharon. Okay, signing off. Thanks a lot. Yeah, look at that nice view. I did my fries in mayo. We'll see you later. D. Michael. More Monkey Business Photo Booths.